Hello all, and welcome to the Parenting and Punchlines podcast with your most excellent hosts, Dylan and Sato. Join us as we gather around the mics to deliver you parenting tools and tips, or discuss the complexities of some of comedy's greatest minds. Whether it's parenting or punchlines, it's all about delivery.
Hola.
Hello. Good evening.
Hang on one second. Can you hear me? You're a little loud in my ears, but
Oh, my
I don't
bad.
know if it's my. Let me turn you down. There we go.
We good?
Okay, much better. That was my bad. I think I had the kids may have cranked my interface volume up, so you know how that goes. Like, leave my shit alone. Okay, nope. Gotta lock that door.
I feel the same way with the adjustments of my lights and my setup. Like, you know what I mean? You'll sit down and you'll be like, what?
Yeah. Why are you in my room?
It is what it is.
So we're back
We are.
to it. It's been just a week. So I've prepared some. I know today's topic, we're talking about Adam Sandler and all the great things he's done. Since we were, I don't know, 7th grade maybe. So to put that into years, I don't know, 30 years ago, give or take. Something like that.
Yeah, it's crazy. He's been an ongoing presence. And that's the thing. We got to talking to him about his comedy albums back in the day. So before he was even really jumping into movies.
Oh, yeah. He was a skit guy, and that was, I think, before Saturday Night Live even, I think.
I remember he's in I wonder where he wanted to go, because I know he did like light stand-up. He did a lot of writing. He wrote for SNL. He was on SNL, but I think he was in episodes of like The Cosby Show. I'm almost positive. Or
I mean, I have his thing pulled up, but we can really go back and see when it all started. No, that's not what I want. Jeez. But They're All Gonna Laugh at You came out September of 93. So I was a few months off, but yeah, it was about 1994 when we got our hands on it. Joey's brother, Charlie, introduced us. He was a little older, and mind you, the language is extremely vulgar in this.
oh, dude.
And for a bunch of 12, 13, how old were we? 12-year-olds to be listening to this stuff, our parents would definitely not have approved. But, you know, Joey's parents didn't give a shit, which was awesome. In that household, I've never seen children under the age of 12 use the F word more in front of their parents. They just, you know, that Eddie Murphy skit where he goes over to his friend's house and he goes, "Shit, Dad, shit." Like,
yeah. Shit, motherfucker, goddamn ass.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
his mouth's like, oh. Yeah, exactly. So, no, you nailed it. Sandler played Theo Huxtable's friend Smitty on the Cosby Show.
I remember that.
He did an MTV show, film debut, Going Overboard. I remember that. And then he was on Saturday Night Live. So, and then the rest is history. That guy does whatever the hell he wants, and it does well. Love him or hate him, he just does stuff. He doesn't care. Remember, he did a bunch of artsy movies, like what was it?
Oh, dude, I brought up this
Punch Drunk Love or something like that.
Yeah, dude. Like, it's amazing. Yeah, like you're right. He did Going Overboard, which I remember was like not good. But he was in Coneheads.
Yes.
Airheads.
Airheads, the drummer.
Great movie.
Great movie.
Even that, he is hilarious in it. He's got so many good like lines and classic bits in that. He's in Mixed Nuts with Steve Martin. Then he got Billy Madison 95, which was knockout.
And that was it. That was just the beginning of his unbelievable. I mean, Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore. There's another big one in there.
I got those it. Bulletproof right after that, dude.
Oh, with Wayne.
Same year, 96. Yeah. He did Happy Gilmore and Bulletproof in 1996, and even Bulletproof, great movie, action comedy, did awesome. 2 years after that, Wedding Singer.
Great movie.
Yeah. Another one, classically known. And then that was 98. Same year, he was in Dirty Work, which I don't remember him in that. That was with
Dirty Work with Norm Macdonald, Artie
Yeah.
Lang.
Yep. And then
What the hell? Yeah.
Waterboy.
Oh yeah, Waterboy.
From Waterboy to Big Daddy.
Big Daddy, another good one.
Big Daddy to Deuce Bigelow.
He was in Deuce Bigelow.
Yeah. I'm trying to see what he is. He's probably,
Not a
cameo.
huge role. Yeah,
Probably
exactly.
not. But from that to Little Nicky.
Which
I wonder.
I don't know. Not a
How
fan.
did you feel about it? How'd you feel about Little Nicky?
Little Nicky was not something I even watched. It was, I think the character was so much of a turnoff, I didn't even attempt to watch it. I think my wife likes that movie. I'm like, eh.
I remember trying to like it. Like I remember the jokes and the bits. I could see him writing with those guys, that team that he's always with. But yeah, they just didn't land. It felt like it reminded me like on his album, same thing actually. There's a lot of tracks that I'd be like, oh, this is funny. Like like it's got a lot of swearing, it's got a lot of like crassness to it, but some of them are just the right mixture to where you're like, this is just great. And then other ones are a little bit where even on his like comedy albums, I would be like, yeah, I get where you're going, but this is just too much for me. Like,
Yeah,
or
I mean that was a 22 track filled, and I would say 75% were good. And I'll just go
right.
down the list. Let's see. We talked about the buffoon. Buddy was great. Longest P was whatever, a
Buddy.
couple minutes. Food Innuendo Guy. That was a song, and I didn't love that song in particular.
Right. No. Agreed.
There's some stuff that would not fly today, like the beating of
any of the beatings.
janitor.
Yeah, like all of those are just
Yeah.
straight up. Just he actually in going back because I went back over some of these. A lot of them, it's just crass and violence and cursing.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
But that was also that's the 80s, dude. Like
science teacher, the cheerleader. I'm so wasted. Lunch Ladyland.
Yeah.
Beating
Lunch
of
Ladyland was.
Oh, what about? We
fantastic.
didn't bring this one up. This is a number 20 track. Toll Booth Willie.
I was just listening to that, dude. That's a great one.
Holy crap! Talk about. I got to take this earbud out. Holy crap, that hurts. Toll Booth Willie was like I think my favorite track on that entire album.
I gotta say, like
the one-liners are great.
Yeah, no, like that was one that I think we used to prank call somebody before.
Oh, I'm sure.
Where we just saved those spots and then we would have that be the answer. It's just him cursing. So no matter what somebody would say, he would just curse them out. And it was awesome because it's not your voice. So it was like,
oh man, that is such a vulgar track. It's like $1.25.
Yeah. Oh, dude. You forgot to pay the toll, you dirty whore.
I'm coming out of the
booth. I gotta say, in re-listening to some of these, I was like, I forgot how many of like, especially Toll Booth Willie, like how many curses I was like, oh, I used that. I remember I was like, perfect. And I would say it and people would both be insulted. The person you want to swear to, and then also everyone around you like, oh my gosh, that was awesome. Yeah, and you're like, thank you, Adam. Thank you.
We memorized basically this whole album because I mean I've probably listened to it 1,000 times in my lifetime.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm wondering if there's nothing. I don't know if there's anything like this anymore, like little skit comedies. I guess Key and Peele. There's Key and Peele and those types of, but they're not. It's video. Everything's video now,
and it's TV too. So
it's video.
There's sponsors and monitors who are definitely probably tweaking, right? Because you ever see stuff where you're like, how did you guys make that happen? You know what I mean? Because it's just not funny. And then other stuff you're like, oh, that's beautiful. Like,
wait, who are you talking about?
Anybody. Like sometimes even Key and Peele, like
they're
see like stuff. Right. No, there's some that you're just like, oh, this is great. And then some of them you're like, wow, this is a long, not funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But again, like how did that first start? What was that exactly how it was, or was that edited? And maybe that's where it lost some of its luster. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
I'm not sure if this one was edited, but it doesn't sound like it is. Well,
no. I'm sure his was not, because back in the day, you could put whatever out you wanted. They were just going to slap on the black and white advisory label, And once
There's
you
some,
know
yeah,
that, you just don't hold back. Like that's what I
there's
felt like with
some
his album. He knew
serious
he was gonna
names.
get it.
Yeah, there's a ton of names on here. Tim Meadows, David Spade, Farley, Andrew Leeds, Conan O'Brien was on it.
Yeah.
I wonder what he did. But I love Conan O'Brien, by the way. He's another one of my top comedians.
Yeah, he works well with everybody, which is
Oh
pretty
yeah.
cool. Oh, you know what? And then his next album was what was it?
What the hell happened to me?
Which is another one I forget about. You know what? I was looking over that album. A lot of good tracks. Again, some of them that you're like, damn, like
Yeah.
Sex or Weightlifting. I remember being like a hilarious one, but
Having
seriously, when you listen to
or
it, you're
working
like,
out.
damn, dude, this is hardcore. He is not holding back.
Those
Holy shit.
those aren't dumbbells.
Yeah, those are not dumbbells. Those are just my balls, baby.
Who was in that? Right. Judd Apatow was in a few tracks on that one. The Hypnotist.
I have that one if we want to listen to it. Dude, that I listened to that with my daughter and she was on the floor because
I gotta hear it. I don't remember.
I got it. It's Nealon with him.
It's 8 minutes long, FYI. Just so you know.
Oh, I gotcha. If anytime you want to stop it.
Well, no, I don't know if you have a certain spot you want to hit, but yeah, you play the whole thing. I don't care.
Yeah, no, like he works into it great because here's what I like about it. Adam's reactions are so natural. That's what makes it great because you can tell it's like it's scripted, but he's still acting it and like it's
totally.
Not. It's like he's just
before you play that. It's kind of a formula, yeah. So, what the hell happened to me? There's some songs, then there's instead of the beating of the high school teacher, it's the excited Southerner or something.
Oh, that's right. That's like his.
Those are
like, hey, yeah, he just can't get to his whatever he's trying to say. I'm going down the road and like yeah.
The excited Southerner meets Mel Gibson, proposes to a woman, like sex or weightlifting. Is the Lonesome Kicker on here, or is it the next one?
That I think that's the next one because the one after that is where he's got the face paint on the album.
What's your name?
Yeah, and then when I was looking, he's got a couple albums after that I didn't even know he released. So I'm interested to even check those out because I was not expecting that.
The Goat Song. Yeah, Lonesome Kicker was pretty good too. That's a football one. You know what I mean?
No, I do. That one was really good.
Pretty sure Lonesome Kicker was on.
Let me see.
The second one? No, it's not on the second one. Maybe it's on the third one. Stan and Judy's Kid, 99. Shush, Don't Tell. Cool Guy 4. I gotta listen to these. I mean, our generation grew up listening to shit like this. Like we had Jerky Boys, we had 2 Bar, we have this, Adam Sandler, skit comedy, and that's kind of how they did it in the olden days with the AM FM radio. They would do skits live on the air, you know. So different time.
All right. I also have on here Right Field, which was a really great track. And then even just a little sample Adam Gilmore from a movie or Happy Gilmore. But wait, where is it? They're going to laugh at you.
Happy Gilmore was probably, in my eyes, better than Billy Madison or... Dude, Happy Gilmore is a great movie.
All right. Hold on. Let me get past this.
Commercials.
Savings this moving season with Pods. Save up to 25% now on moving and storage.
Skip.
Hi, Dr. Stewart.
Hi, Dr. Stewart. Nice to meet you. I'm Gary Phelps.
My pleasure. Gary, have you ever been hypnotized before?
No, I haven't. I'm actually quite nervous, but I just...
All right. And you were referred to me by anyone?
To be honest with you, I saw your name in the yellow pages, and it said you're good at this stuff, so I got to give it a shot, man. I got to kick this cigarette thing.
So smoking is your problem?
Yeah, I can't stop smoking, and it's finally like affecting everything I do. I can't run. I can't, play basketball and stuff like that. So I got to give it up.
I see. How long have you smoked, Gary?
I started when I was 11 years old, and just can't kick it, you know.
Yeah. Right. All right, Gary, why don't you just have a seat here and
Is this
sit down and just relax. Now, what I do is hypnosis.
Right.
Basically, I just want you to sit back and relax. Just let yourself sink right into the chair and just feel comfortable and trust me. That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Gary, I want you to close your eyes and I just want you to, again, relax and just try and concentrate on nothing.
Okay.
Okay. That's it. Now, I'm going to count backwards from 5 to 0.
Right.
And I just want you to relax. And you're going to fall into a deep state of mind of subconsciousness.
All right.
You're very comfortable.
Yeah.
I'll be counting back from 5. I want you to relax.
Yeah.
And just think of nothing.
Oh man.
Nothing?
Are you gonna keep doing that? Or?
Just concentrate now.
All right.
That's it. Close
That's
your eyes.
Kevin
Keep
Nealon.
your eyes
Yeah.
closed.
Yeah, perfect guy for it.
Oh, Kevin
Very
Nealon's the man.
comfortable. 5. We're thinking.
He's like the
nothing
perfect straight
except
man.
being comfortable and nothing's bothering
He was
us.
perfect in Happy Gilmore. He's
I
the
said,
same person.
relax.
Mhm.
Listen to me. You're sinking. You're
Yeah.
sinking.
And oh my god, that was Are you gonna
There you
keep
go.
doing that?
Please just try to relax. That wasn't me.
Are you gonna keep? That wasn't me.
You're very
That's what I'm
stressed.
saying. You're gonna
very
keep doing that.
stressed.
It's like
Okay.
you would say, like
4.
totally, dude.
We're relaxing. We're
Yeah.
relaxing.
Yeah.
You're very comfortable.
Okay.
You're very, very soothed. Okay. 4, 3.
Oh my dear God, sir.
You
That
have to
doesn't
put
count.
those in at the
Yeah, I
right
know, it
spot.
sounded
That's the
like
whole
it's
thing.
final. That's a new
That's what I'm
count.
saying. His
Timing.
timing
Just
with
try and
this
concentrate.
and them
Yeah.
working together,
Okay.
because you know
Mhm.
this is them
Very
working off each
sleepy.
other.
We're relaxed.
I feel like
Thinking
you and I
nothing
can do
bothers
this.
us. Nothing bothers us.
All right. Could you open a window, maybe?
Hmm?
I just having a tough
Here we
time
go. Here we go.
concentrating.
3,
He's like,
3.
here we
We're
go.
relaxing.
Okay.
We're relaxing. Alrighty.
Okay.
3, 2.
I was gonna ask you if you
2.
could maybe stop doing that. I can't concentrate when you're doing that.
This is what I do. It's a counting down thing.
Okay.
We're relaxing now.
All right.
Just relax. Let it go. Don't focus on anything else.
All
Just
right.
concentrate on what we're doing here.
All right.
3, 2. Relax.
Okay.
Relax. That's it. Just relax. We're relaxing now.
Okay, you're
That's
gonna.
it. We're
That one was.
relaxing.
It's getting a little irritating.
Hang on one second. Let me
Okay,
just step
you
outside
got
for a
it.
second here.
That'd be good.
All right. And we're relaxing as I
That'd be
leave. We're
good.
relaxing. We're relaxing.
Oh my God.
We're relaxing. Okay, I'm back. We're
Why is that
relaxing.
laughing?
And we're counting
I
down.
think that's
We're to
him. Like
2,
he's laughing
and
in the
all we're
waiting
thinking
room
about
while he's in the other
is
room. Like, is this
healthy,
really happening?
You
fresh
needed
air.
a break.
Mhm.
freshness.
yeah.
Breathing in deep, letting it out.
Sir, I'd appreciate it if
that's
you could
nice.
stop letting it out. But
You could
okay,
stop
fine.
letting it
You're
out.
all right. You're all right. Everything's good. All right. You feel very comfortable. You're sinking into the chair. We're relaxing. 1, and we're coming down to 0.
Oh
and
my
when we,
God.
Yes.
All right. I just
No.
there's nothing.
No,
Thank you.
No, that time that was you. Now we're not here to pick sides.
That wasn't me.
We're not here
That
to
was-
pick sides. That was
All
you.
right, All right.
And maybe we could deal with this in another session. But right now we're
Sure.
dealing with the smoking.
All right. I know.
And let's not worry about
No, that
anything
time
else that's going on.
that was
I'm just gonna
you.
kick this habit.
Down to 0,
Yes.
relaxing. We're going to feel very fresh. We're going to feel very healthy.
Yeah.
And let's
I
take a
remember
nice
this part.
deep breath.
I can't breathe, sir. I'm sorry. I just.
What are you
all right.
saying?
Oh my God! What did you eat? It smells like baby food.
All right, we're relaxed. That one probably squirted out a little bit into the pants, but
Oh,
we'll just continue with the floating. Yeah, that was definitely a squirt.
Okay.
Alrighty. Here we go. 1,
he's losing it.
0. We are under. Are you relaxed?
I'm under, I guess.
There we go.
I guess. Yes.
Relaxing. All right. You're under a deep trance. You will not smoke anymore. You will just feel healthy from now on, and you'll be breathing in nothing but fresh air, and you will not smell anything in this room. It wasn't me. It wasn't me farting. That was not me.
You're gonna have to stop doing that, sir. It's just
He's
that
really
it's
laughing.
very hard for me
Yeah.
to listen
You're
to you when
you're floating
So
now.
who do you think
You're high
is
above. You're
controlling the
looking
fart
down.
machine? Or
Nothing but
right?
fresh pastures
one
and
of them
fields.
is got to be doing it.
And here we go.
Oh man,
That was
sir,
you.
That was not me.
That was
sir.
you.
I'm
When
watching
you wake
you.
up, you won't remember any of this except that
Okay.
it was you or my receptionist. Don't worry, she gets it all the time. All right. You smell nothing. I'm perfectly clean. I have no bad gas. It was all from outside or from you yourself. All right.
Okay.
And let's not forget the smoking thing. Okay,
And
that's
let's
why
not
you're
forget the
Yeah.
smoky
No
thing.
smoking.
Yes.
Repeat after me. I am a smelly pig.
What?
All right. We're moving along and we're
Moving along.
relaxed.
What?
All right. All right. Now I'm going to count back up.
Okay,
Up,
fine. You know
1
what?
to
Actually,
5.
I think I
Very
don't want,
settle down.
I
Relax.
think I don't want to smoke. You're right. This is working great.
When I get to 5,
Yeah.
you will come out of it. I will snap my fingers,
Yes.
and you won't remember any of this, especially
okay.
the smell. The smell was
All
from
right.
you. All right. And here we go.
Okay.
0. We're
Yeah.
coming out of it. You're waking up slowly.
Yeah.
Your eyes are opening.
Yeah.
1.
Mhm.
You're feeling good. When
Oh,
you wake up, you'll
So
feel
he's counting back up to
wide
5.
awake
Yeah. You're getting
and perfect. You'll feel whole. And already, I ripped that one out there, and I apologize. I ripped a good one there. That was a nice out. Huh?
That was not
Huh?
nice.
There we go. And here we go. We're coming away.
What was that, sir?
I said 3. That was
It
3. I'm
didn't sound
counting.
like 3. Okay.
And 4. It's no smell in here.
Yeah.
And you don't smoke. You don't want a cigarette.
No.
No. And here we go. 5 and. Do you want a cigarette?
No, I don't.
Then my job is done. Please leave the door open as you leave.
And Nealon, I mean, Nealon is, that was 8 minutes. That was quick, actually. Kevin Nealon.
He
is
to me,
70. He's 70.
I can see that, but I mean, because he felt like he was an older dude, even
Well,
in
yeah.
like Gilmore.
He was when we were when 94, 5. Adam Sandler was born. Like he must have been 30 something there. Nealon was like 50, let's say, right? So that's great. And I mean, Sandler, again, love him or hate him, you can't deny the dude. Like he is, I think he's hilarious.
Oh, yeah, no, he comes out with the thing he can do, I think, is unabashedly come out with content. Like he's even coming out with these like murder mystery comedies, you know what I mean? Which are, have you seen any of those? Where him and his wife are
right.
just
He
living
usually
life.
does stuff with Jennifer Aniston, right?
Yeah. And they're good. They're funny because I think that's just him. I think he knows how to like just be silly in a moment, and that's how he writes. And so he can really interject himself into anything. And he has, if you think about it. Like you said, he was doing more artsy films where even his comedy styling was artsy. He was still trying to be funny, but in a more cerebral way. Being a little bit maybe ironic funny than.
And with kid stuff
slapstick.
too. Like we've watched some kid movies, and I'm like, because kid movies are always never really good. But the Halloween one, I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
What was it called?
Yeah.
Hubris or something with an H. It was a great movie.
Yeah, the
time.
Halloween one. The one where he has the Swiss Army thermos, right?
It's been a few Halloweens. I just remember it was a Halloween theme one, and I watched the whole thing and didn't have any issues with it. I was like, this is great. It's a good movie.
It is a good movie.
And the kids didn't even watch it. We watched it.
I don't remember. Only starting to come around. Like I think, especially like Sandler, like he has a very specific, some of his movies style to, I think, the decade it's in, right? Like Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, those definitely have a very specific style of comedy, right? Where, like we were saying before, some of his bits wouldn't play now. I don't think people would even think it's funny. I think they'd just be like, who is this? But
think about when we listened to stuff when we were kids that came out in the 50s or 60s. Like it might have been hilarious back then, but we're like, it doesn't hold up. And that's true for most things, you know.
Right.
Unless if you have the right, not palate, but the right, I can't remember the word, but like you appreciate the older comedians. So I don't know about you, but I like some older comedians that are dead now, but like Don Rickles or those guys that were really old school. So we'll see if Adam Sandler holds up. I'm going to show it to my kids when they're old enough, like 12 or 13. See, okay, what do you think of this? See what happens, you know?
Yeah, like what we just played, The Hypnotist. Because as I was listening to it, I was like, this is actually just that. This is just fart humor, right?
Yeah, that's all.
Because no cursing in it. The whole thing we were listening to, I was like, this is actually clean except for a fart sound.
It's farts, yeah. That's it.
And that's the whole thing. Is it's supposed to be a professional setting, and you're supposed to be like not paying attention to that. But that's the whole point of hypnotism, is to like, you know what I mean, not pay attention to the little things. But
yeah, he was 28 when that came out. Yeah,
crazy,
28 years old, man.
Crazy to think about that. Yeah, and that album was fantastic. I mean, both of those comedy albums I thought were really, really good, but I had to get at these other ones. But
talk about a crazy career. He's currently working with George Clooney. Like, that's Adam Sandler is like an A-lister in his own category. Like, the dude works with everybody. Everyone likes him. Like, you know.
Well, that's the amazing thing. He can do a lot. Like, since he's a writer, I think that's what's great. He's a writer, actor, comedian, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's an amazing thing to be, because that means you can surround your, like, acting in its own right is tough, right? But comedy is different, I think, than even acting. Like, you can be a dramatic actor and still do some other roles, and that kind of fits the bill for a lot. But not a lot of people can go from like drama and do comedy. But I think more comedians can do comedy and switch over to drama. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it doesn't. Depending on what roles you do, you may end up getting typecasted to like just be. I'm trying to think of a good example of somebody that maybe was typecasted but then came out, played a role. You know what? This is a weak ass one, but Selena Gomez, you know her, right?
Okay.
Singer, teenage singer, dated Justin Bieber, and then she does Only Murders in the Building with Steve Martin and Steve Short. And she, you know, at first I'm like, how are you going to do this? She nailed it. So, you know, here's a good one. Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey did Ace Ventura: The Mask, and then he does The Truman Show, and then he does Eternal Sunshine with that really long title, and fucking nailed it, right?
Yeah,
like that movie was great. I don't know about you.
And in those times, those movies did not get, like, now they are like, especially Eternal Sunshine, that became a cult classic. But at the time, I remember people even saying like, "Oh, is he going through like a depression or something?" And it's like,
no, what's he doing?
Like, what are you talking about? He's doing a dramatic role. That's not.
Was that post Andy Kaufman, the movie he did with Andy Kaufman, Man on the Moon?
No. Did you ever see that documentary about him doing that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And he didn't break character the whole time he was filming that movie. He was Andy Kaufman the whole time.
Dave Chappelle does that bit about it. Where
I mean, Dave Chappelle, I raise my glass to him. He is the best comedian of all time, in my humble opinion. That's my guy.
I really love Dave Chappelle. Like, I agree. And I mean, his writing, and even funny. It's funny too when you start to see like, like the things he's a piece of that you wouldn't expect his name to be on. You're like, oh shit, okay, that makes sense. You're a great writer too. Like, you're funny. But yeah, he has a lot of things that his name is on that I appreciate. And the longevity of it. Like, his recent I was impressed with just him coming out with so much content recently, where all those Netflix specials, boom, 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 one after another, were so good, each in their own right, where you're like, damn, dude, like, that's impressive just to be able to do that.
Well, yeah, he tells my question is, why doesn't he ever end up on roast? How come they don't either invite him or he just turns it down? Maybe.
I could see him saying, if you think about it, it looks like he's understood. Like, I don't need an industry to do what I'm doing.
Right. He does it for himself. He doesn't. He's
Right,
not.
and it
He's
seems
not
like
really buddies with anybody. You know how there's some comedy
well,
cliques all
it
over.
seems like ever since the show, like he felt like he got shortchanged, and then everybody started calling him crazy because he wanted to have control and absolute, say so over his own decision making. I could see him being like, yeah, if I can exist outside of that industry, but do the industry, then I'm going to do that because it's the best way to make all your own money all for yourself, right? Because that means there's no
Yeah.
hands to pay to get
And I'm,
what you want
you
done.
know, and that's probably part of it. But like, did you see the Chappelle with David Letterman? Letterman has a show on Netflix. It's called something with Letterman, and they do like a sit down long form interview, and they really dig deep, and they do cool shit.
Yeah.
But I want Adam Sandler to do one with, like, that one guy. Man, I'm losing all the names. He would do the long form interviews with probably just a lot of people, a lot of different people. Man, I forget his name. But that's kind of what's happening. Dave Letterman's kind of like pivoted to that. He doesn't have a late night show anymore. So the show he's doing now, like he just did one with John Mulaney.
Oh, cool.
But I want to see him with Dave Chappelle. Oh, not Dave Chappelle. Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler doesn't do public shit, man. He just keeps to himself.
Again, he's another one. He's got his own production company, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's got his own fan base to a point that could support him. Like, even when his movies don't do well, they still make enough money to make him like be able to do movies because he's like, they're still profitable. So even like if they're a flop in the eyes of the industry, or say, he's like, this is a win for me. Every person I'm friends with got a paying role. I paid them well. We all made money. The movie was profitable. Like, yeah, I can't, like, he probably feels like he can't be touched. And public sector is a place where you can just like, like the public isn't kind. Like Dave Chappelle articulated that at one point where he was complaining, like, at any moment I could just say the wrong thing and then all of you will turn on me like dogs. And then,
but he doesn't give a shit.
Pieces, right? Where Adam Sandler, I could see being like, especially now, he's putting his kids in movies, and I think he's doing that in a smart way because I think Adam Sandler's more intelligent. He has always played this like, all those little things, but like I think he knows, like, kind of like I can't remember who started saying it first, but there's I think it was Jay-Z. They started putting their relatives in movies and their productions on purpose because their relatives now will get royalties off of their amazing record or movie for the rest of their lives. And so they were saying, boom, that has right there, has you set up. So Adam Sandler, same thing. He has his kids cameoing in like Bat Mitzvah and some Jack and Jill and some of these family movies he's producing. If you look around, it's his entire family.
Yeah.
Not kids, cousins, aunts and uncles. He's throwing, I think his grandmother is in a couple of his movies. And it's just that because they're extras, they're one line, and that means their royalty goes up on a certain amount,
and he gets to have all of his friends. If you notice Sandler,
oh yeah, and then
they will have all of his people in all of the same movies, like
right, or at least
I think that started. Yeah, I think that started. Well, Billy Madison, I'm trying to think. Billy Madison was Norm Macdonald, Artie Lang, right? Was Artie Lang his other buddy in the pool? They were floating around.
Ooh, I can't remember the two guys who was already. No, one of them was Norm Macdonald. Yeah, who was always drunk on the thing.
Yeah, drunk in the pool.
I think that is Artie Lang. I don't remember now.
So maybe that was his like crew. But Norm Macdonald's dead. Artie Lang.
If you watch that again, though, I don't remember the guy's name. The guy who was in Grandma's Boy, who's in all his movies.
What's he in Happy Gilmore?
I'm just saying, if we go back, he might be in that because it might have started that.
Oh yeah. Like if you go to IMDb,
right? Or if you watch it, you might just be like, "There he is," because I didn't start noticing the breadth of how many people he put in there until I started like rewatching those movies, and then I'd be
What
like,
happened
okay,
to
there's
what
that
happened
dude.
to Veronica Vaughn, man? Jeez.
Veronica Vaughn.
She fell off.
Is that the girl who is his girlfriend?
Yeah, the blonde chick. Holly
I
Madison.
don't know.
Is it Holly Madison? Is it Holly Madison?
I mean,
there it is, Billy Madison. It was. Let's see. Yeah, she was pretty hot. Not gonna lie. Bridget Wilson Sampras. Oh, did she marry Pete Sampras? No shit. And then Eric Gordon, his like arch nemesis, where they do the marathon or the telethon or whatever it's called to see who gets the company.
Oh yeah.
He's in some other stuff. Yeah, Norm Macdonald, Larry Hankin. You know him. He was in Friends. The guy that dies in Friends, the old guy. Josh Mostow. I'm trying to find who the other guy was. I don't think Artie Lang was in this.
Who would that guy be? Just some random dude? I mean, maybe, because that's early enough where Sandler probably had.
It was Mark. It was Frank and Jack. Mark Beltzman.
I don't know who that is.
And Mark, I mean, if he looks like Artie Lang, look up Mark Beltz. Here, just put it up on the screen if you want. But it kind of looks like Artie Lang.
Mark Beltzman.
Beltzman. He was in Mo Money. He was in The Wedding Singer also. So again, Sandler has his people.
Oh, that guy does look like Artie Lang.
Right? Just a tad.
Pop that up. I'd say a little bit more than a tad, but
yeah. Oh, he was in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Is that? Oh, that's who that is. I think. You watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
You told me about that, and I haven't gotten to it. I actually watched. What's it called? What is this? Get this ad off here.
By the way, I tried is it the Black Jesus show? I couldn't do it.
Really? Oh, dude.
No,
I like that show.
Couldn't do it. I think the production was a little too like. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of like a production like Friday or something like that. Just like kind of low production.
There he is.
But yeah, he looks like Artie Lang.
I checked out Loudermilk. That's a good show.
That's a great show. We're not done with it yet.
No, it's not. But it was definitely one of those that I've been looking for something, because usually when I do chores or something, I like to have something on. So that was a great,
perfect, because you don't really have to follow it 100%.
Right. You get the idea, so you're
Ron
just waiting
Swanson,
around.
That was the guy from Office Space.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah.
That was a good
movie. And I think
movie.
we kind of relate, because it's like he's around our age, and he has like a record store, and that was all the craze back then. And he likes music, and it kind of reminds me, like, I feel like we lived part of that life back in the day. So,
also like
that was a good one.
It reminded me of just like, kind of like that time of your 20s. That's kind of what is it? Tremulous?
I know what you're trying to say. Words are horrible.
Tremulous? I can't. What the fuck? That's gonna bother me. Anyways.
Yeah, can't help you.
Try to sound, try to throw some
try to throw some big words in there.
New vocab words in there, baby.
What?
But
it's like a
tremulous.
What
am I trying to say?
Strenuous.
Tremulous.
Yeah, there's two words we're trying to say. Neither one of us
is that what I'm doing? I'm combining
strenuous. No, not strenuous. No, strenuous means like hard or like difficult to accomplish.
I'm thinking of like the fuck am I trying to I'm going to try a quick little Google. Google knows all.
I kind of know what you're talking about. So Loudermilk, we are so off topic, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Loudermilk, Will Sasso, man. I like Will Sasso.
I do too. He's funny. Yeah. And like lovable.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? You're just like,
what I always said is Will Sasso, if they ever did a Sopranos remake, he could play Tony Soprano. They kind of look alike.
Oof. If he did that and did it well, that would be
Yeah,
acting
we'll talk
because
about
holy
a.
shit. Yeah,
Well,
like
yeah,
no,
I
I mean
mean,
that would be a curve because I don't like Tony Soprano.
well, have you seen that show all the way through?
I haven't.
Okay,
And I
so
got to rewatch
it's
it because
it's
I
less of
definitely
a
it was spotty.
mobster movie or a mobster show and more of like the whole premise. Now we're really getting because that's not even a funny show.
It's
Actually,
not. It's okay.
there's some funny parts. Like me and Justin French will send each other memes and shit because we follow certain Sopranos pages and we're like, "Yep, that's Vito," just because
Yeah.
there's funny lines. There's
No,
really a lot
I
of
mean,
funny
if there's a
Italian lines.
culture around anything, you can
Yeah.
joke with it, you know.
But it's about Tony Soprano's like inner struggle and his childhood and all that stuff. It's actually a very complicated show, believe it or not. It's my favorite show of all time. Period. Like hands down, nothing beats it. So I know those are big things to say
All
about one
time.
show.
Oh, see, I can't.
Do you have an
Ooh.
all-time show? And if the answer is no, you
Okay.
haven't found it yet.
Here's my question. What does that mean? Like, is that the show that you can, no matter what, rewatch again and again and
I am
again? Is
6
it mean
seasons,
okay?
over 115 shows probably. I'm gonna let you come into my crazy life when it comes to Sopranos. So they're 52 minutes apiece. I'm on round 4, fourth time watching it through. I'm good for every 3 or 4 years. I'm going to watch it. And then on top of that, during COVID, Michael Imperiola and Steve Sharippa, Bobby Bacala, if you guys know, those two guys started a podcast like we're doing. And their premise was they would watch episode 1, season 1, and then maybe they'd bring in a writer and be like, oh yeah, and then there's always like some background cool stories. Then they'd go through the script kind of loosely and kind of dissect it. So some of the episodes were confusing. You're like, is he trying to? They kind of just, I don't know. It's just like it's a bit of an obsession on my end because I just love that show.
So what is it about the show that you're like, yes? Is it the content? Like, is it the the idea of like the gangsters, mobsters? Is it just the writing?
There's
Is
no
it
glorification there.
the actors?
The writing, the actors. This is what this podcast covers. Like they nailed it in every single way possible. They nailed it in casting, props, like writing, how they're filming, because they would try cool shit every every 10 episodes they try to film stuff funny and you're like, oh, that's a weird camera angle, or just the content and how tight the story was. Like you couldn't watch season 3 episode 2 and know what the fuck's going on because a lot of shit happened the past 60 episodes. So that one is a chronological episode. You have to start and you see the kids grow up and
see, I think that's why I couldn't get to, because especially when it was on, I'd watch, but I'd miss some here and there. And then you try to jump back in the story. And I just slowly got just to a point where I was just like, yeah, I can't get back. I don't know.
So it's a complicated watch, and I'm going to call it that. And here's why. First time I watched it, by the second time I watched it, I didn't remember half the show. Watched it a third time. Now the fourth time, I'm picking up on stuff. I was like, oh, okay. Because all the other shit you've already seen before and your brain knows it. So it starts focusing on the new stuff. And then, there's some realizations like, got it. Or
totally.
they'll do
I love that about rewatching stuff.
Yes.
And that was like the best thing about like just being like, it's been a while. I'm just going to pop all these like, this just recently, have you seen the original? I don't know if you're a fan of the Planet of the Apes movies. They've remade them. Now they're remaking them a bunch.
I am not, but that's okay. I mean, I also didn't watch Star Wars.
No,
I
it's fine.
Didn't watch a lot of movies that Young American Boys did.
I don't even think too many people watched the original, if I'm honest. Like,
because that shit
Mark
came
Wahlberg,
out in the 60s or 50s, right?
70s. Yeah, 60s, 70s. 68 was the first movie. And the only reason I popped him in was, one, I worked at Blockbuster, so I had access to all kinds of movies and stuff.
Blockbuster. Deep pull.
Yeah. But also, USA, that network, used to run old movies all the time. And Thanksgiving, for whatever reason, they would play Planet of the Apes, certain breaks from school, they'd play all those movies, all 5 from those times,
Right.
like late nights or weird early times. And I would sit there with like a turkey sandwich because I'd rip it out from the turkey, leftover food from Thanksgiving,
Yep.
eat, gorge myself, have a sandwich per movie with chips, and watch those movies and rewatch those movies and be like, dude, this, you don't even understand the levels of how real this is.
Yeah.
They thought it all through. And then recently, Aaron was like, oh, hey, I don't know if you noticed, like, they're remaking all those movies that you were talking about, the ape ones. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, and they put the new ones out. And she's like, just for fun, we should put one in just to see what it's like, because she doesn't really like old movies, because we'll put one in and she'll be like, God damn, the credit sequence is like 20 minutes. I'm like, yeah,
Right.
it did that in the 70s. And then, or like just certain things, she'll be like, I don't think I can do this. Like it's in
like,
black and white.
yeah,
I can't do
super
it.
big intros, low production, low budget. You're just like, this is whatever.
Or they just did different things because that was the style of movies back then, right? So she usually didn't have that type of patience. But recently, I was like, hey, let's just pop. She's like, let's just pop one in, just for a laugh. So I was like, the first one's good. And then I was like, so just, we might watch it. And she's like, okay, we're starting to watch. And she's like, this is actually good. She's like, the style of this makes it feel like it's still, I was like, it lives up to it because they did a great job.
Holds up, yeah. Is that the Mark Wahlberg one?
No. This is
the original.
This is the original, baby. Like, you should watch it. It's really good.
I know.
She ended up. It's got Charlton Heston, so it's got another main dude like from that era. Yeah,
long time.
And it just, I love those movies. There's just something about them. The only thing I'm gonna say that is totally like valid is the first 10 minutes, which is not that long, is a little hard to watch, only because we are in a technological age. This is supposed to be the 70s version of the year like 2200 or some shit.
Yeah,
on a spaceship. So it's very like, like look at the buttons, look at the, oh hell yeah, to where you're just like, after that, every fucking thing makes sense and why it looks that way and how it is. It your brain just registers like, this is almost fucking real, right? Just because they did such a good job, and it's just captivating. It's just, and then part 2 is still good. We ended up watching, and I was surprised because she started getting excited. So we'd like go grocery shopping on Saturday, and she'd be like, oh, come on. And I'm like, what the fuck is your deal? She's like, well, I kind of want to see the third movie. You said this is, and I was like, oh yeah, they go under the planet. I was like, you get to see what humans look like now. There's 5 movies.
Man.
And they're all starkly different. That's what's cool. A lot of movies, like, have you ever watched a movie and the third one or the fourth one and you're like, not as good? These are all original stories.
3, 4, 5.
It's surprising. Like the first one is about he finds a planet that's covered in apes. The second one is they go underneath the planet and they find that there's a civilization living underground that evolved also alongside all this crazy shit. And then after that, you find out how these societies happen because you're dropped in and you don't know what's going on. You're just like, what the fuck? The third one tells you like how these things happen from.
Is that called like dystopian or something like that?
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
Yeah. It's like a post-apocalyptic dystopia. Also weird time warp thing because it has to deal with a time. It's a period of history that changes the future. And because of that, they keep messing around with the timeline and where you're at in the timeline. So you don't get the full story in each movie, but you have questions. And all the questions you naturally have are answered in the very next movie. And then you have more questions, and that's answered in the very next movie.
That's smart to do it that way because then you have to come back for something. It's a subtle cliffhanger. It's not like a...
Yes.
Actually, it's a series of subtle cliffhangers.
Yes.
Like, you're like, wait, there's 3 unanswered.
And that's how they end. They build that movie up until the last 15 minutes. And then 5 minutes till the movie's over. You're like, what the fuck? And then the movie ends. And that's how Erin was. She's like, wait, what? That's how it ends? And I was like, oh, yeah, you got to see the next one. And she's like, shit, let's watch the next one.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
But that's what's fun about rewatching. You just get those little subtleties. But I think that's what kind of pulled me for that and building with her. I have to check out Sopranos again then.
I mean, it's another one I like a lot that's up there is Breaking Bad. I've seen it twice all the way through. And it's such a good show. It really is.
It's good. It
Funny
gets
too.
me one of those gross. You know what I mean? Like how you're just like fucking motherfuckers. Like it just gets me into that like almost agitated state because this is real. There's people like this.
Yes,
You know
you're
what I mean?
glorifying drug dealers for sure, but it is for pure entertainment. And
Oh, right. It's just sometimes like there's some things like some
You know.
real things in life. Like I'm not
Yeah.
scared of anything horror, but I do get jarred. But when you see like real life, like there was a really good one recently that not recent, but I just saw it recently with I can't remember who was in it. I could get it for you in a second. The guy from High Fidelity. What's that guy's
Jack
name?
Black or
No.
Cusack?
Cusack.
John Cusack.
John Cusack is a weird dude, and the police think like, dude, his story doesn't add up to where there's a missing girl, and he's kind of involved, but we're not suspecting him. But while they're talking to him, they're like, this motherfucker's almost bragging about this bitch being gone. Let's just kind of investigate him more. The more they investigate him, the more they're like, this dude has got to be a murderer. Like, we got to get information.
Don't finish that because that's something I would definitely watch.
That's the whole movie.
I'm
and
all
it's
up
real.
into that.
And if you watch it, by the time of it's over.
Oh,
I was like, it's based on a real account.
Okay.
And
yes.
and it just builds and builds and builds. And then I was like, there's no way this is real. And I started Googling it and I was like, this is what freaks me out is that John Cusack's character is in existence.
Is it called Pursuit?
Let me see who else is in it? I could tell you with knowing.
Is it from 2022 or earlier?
You're asking the wrong Cusack.
Okay, is it 2 years old, 10 years old, 5 years old?
I couldn't tell you, bro. It was not a newer movie. I just saw it recently. That's why John Cusack. It's set in Alaska. Is Alaskan?
The Frozen Ground.
Killer.
2013. That's with Nick Cage.
I think it's called The Frozen Ground.
Yeah, Frozen Ground with Nick Cage. Yep.
Yes, Nick Cage. Yeah, the story in which is based on real events takes place in Alaska, where a young woman fall target and victim to a horrendous abductor and serial killer.
I know this sounds crazy to say. It only made $5 million at the box office, so it was a bomb.
That's okay.
Watch
it. The realness is what's like.
I'm super fascinated by crime type shit, DNA stuff where they find people, like cold case stuff where they, with today's technology, they can take a thing and there's a little piece of blood.
Oh, totally.
Blood, like boom, you're it. Or a notable one, the Golden Gate Killer, with all these DNA test things that are going on. It's like getting people in trouble, which is fine.
Yeah.
Go for it. Take my stuff and let me know if my cousin's a fucking serial killer or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So this is another genre that I like, but I have to listen and then take long breaks from it because it does really get, you listen to Dateline.
Oh,
and
dude.
They walk you through all that shit and you're like,
yeah,
I can't hear any kid type of stuff.
I was going to say, that's the other one.
No, I can't do it.
They
got to be like 18 and over.
Like, okay, I'm not.
Oh, yeah, anything kid related, I'm out. And
like that show, I can't remember the name of it. You know the one where they would like To Catch a Predator.
Oh yeah.
I watched just a couple, and then I was just like, there's just too many of these episodes for me to feel comfortable.
That one, you're like, there's people like that out there. It's fucked up.
And the creepiness of how calm they are, just talking to this dude who caught them. Just I came here to like, what, dude? You're not lie. I don't know. Like it's just mind-boggling that they've already accepted it to a certain degree.
Not to make a light joke out of a horrible situation like that, but Adam Carolla, speaking of comedy, because that's what we do here, Adam Carolla had a whole bit about how he would handle the Dateline guy, like if he was going to be a pedophile. He goes, I would order a cheese pizza and get it delivered there right before I showed up. And if the SWAT showed up or whatever, he's like, I'm getting the fuck out of there. I'm out of there. Like, that was his decoy.
Oh my gosh, that's genius.
Yeah. Carolla gets a bad rap for him too. he's underrated. He is a funny dude. I just saw him
he's
live
I liked his
recently.
show. His show
The
was
show is
great.
completely different. It's gone through like 3 or 4 different renditions,
Mhm.
different sidekicks and whatnot, and now it's just him doing long form interviews, which I've given it a chance, but I don't know if he's the right guy for it. But
Interviews, yeah.
yeah, so but yeah, he would have stuff like that, like just funny scenarios where he's like, I'd
Yeah.
order a cheese pizza, and just
That's what was the great about
talk
him
way
on
back.
with Drew is when people would call in, that's the first thing he would do. Drew would
Yeah.
start talking, giving advice, and he'd be like, "Hold on, Drew."
Yeah,
and
hold on.
then he'd give his little like funny bit on the situation. All right, continue, and he'd even be like, "All right, continue giving him."
He is an
support and
improv
advice.
king, though. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Like, he started at the Groundlings, or whatever. It's like Second City in Chicago. Like, it's an improv trope.
Mhm.
And he did a lot of that, and that's kind of why he knows how to, what's it called? Just like workshop and
on
do
the
shit
fly.
like that.
Oh,
On the fly, but yeah. But
I
anyway,
forgot about that. Billy Brandes from high school.
I remember that kid's name. Yeah, I don't know who he is. I can't remember.
He was like a skateboarder. He hung out with like Colton Brock, Zach. So he recently, I mean, I want to say like 5 to 8 years maybe ago, started doing like improv and comedy stuff and acting, and he's stuck with it. And he's doing his own workshops now, and he's been in a couple movies
here in Phoenix.
Yeah, I think it's called Google him. Laugh Cellar?
I just did.
Laugh something. It's on his Facebook. But yeah, he's starting to organize and host his own workshops that he's like hosting and creating, which is pretty cool. But because you said you wanted to you were for a little bit trying to do the acting thing. You ever think about?
Yeah. I mean, I did a little bit of extra work, and the thing with acting is, how do I put this? Like, you can't just wake up one day like I did and be like, I want to be an actor. Like, I was on a couple of big movie sets as an extra, carrying something or whatever, made $100 for 14 hours, and whatever. And you're just like, oh, I can do this. It's just one of those cool fantasies that one has, like, oh, that'd be cool to be an actor. Like, but I've never put in the work to do it. It sounds awesome, but I don't know, respect the hell out of actors. I'm trying to find Billy Brandes, but I got nothing.
Are you just doing a Google search, or are you doing
through I need Facebook? To put like Phoenix AZ maybe.
Oh, that could be too. I'm trying to think of the name of his acting troupe.
Hearts of Fire. Here it is. Found it.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Hearts on Fire. Hearts on Fire. Let's see if there's any action on here. April 14th. Very, very... Dude, I'm glad you told me this. This is great. Phoenix. Comedian.
So, yeah, I was going to say definitely like... if you, I don't know, if you wanted to go check that out, see what it's up, or
where it is, because that was down a couple of spots too.
But that was one thing I was thinking about doing, because improv groups is like, I've heard a couple of people talk about sometimes when they're going to look for extras or certain things, they go to things like improv groups because they're like, hey, you have some experience with, messing around with lines and doing these types of things. So you want a shot? You want to try it out? We're desperate. We'll be shooting around the corner. But yeah.
Well, you know how the crazy story, and this isn't just me talking about myself. When I was sitting at a Starbucks, and I was approached by, I couldn't even tell if he was a man or a woman, to be honest. I was like 24 or 23. I had my beard and kind of longer hair, and I looked Middle Eastern / possibly terroristic because of my whatever. And this dude or gal's like, something about they're doing a movie and they need people that look like me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, shit, all right, cool. So that's kind of, I didn't go seeking that. It literally was like, hey, come check this out. So I was an extra in, but at that point I was like super stoked. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to be an actor. This is going to be
They
awesome.
found me. I was
You know,
found today.
Well, yeah. I mean, that would have been a
No,
great
that's crazy.
story
You're
if
just sitting
something
there
did happen.
having a coffee, right?
But yeah, I was having a coffee, smoking, whatever, hanging out. And they're like, oh, he smokes, even better. Because they all smoke over there.
We can sell this.
You know what? One of the shows, I should pull up the clip where I'm an extra, and you remember that? You can see.
Yeah, no, that's
face.
for sure. Yeah.
And I got to meet some of the big name actors I never would have. It was like a nod, like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
That's it.
No, that's cool.
cool.
You get to take that with you. Like, you are in a movie. You had that experience. You have like all, and even those takeaways where, like you said, like it gave you kind of a real awakening to like what that looks like. I'll be waiting around until they need you, because like that kind of got me thinking about what it really is. Because you're like thinking about it, and you're like, oh yeah, they have a trailer. Why do they have a trailer? Well, they're gonna be there in a ridiculously
it's their full-time job. It's their 12-hour job.
Oh, even more.
Job.
Yeah, sometimes more than that. You're gonna be on set for 20 hours. So go hang out for 6.
Go take a nap.
We'll get you for makeup, and then you're gonna go back for 2 more hours, and then we'll come back get you. So 8 hours is just makeup and hanging out, and then you're ready to go to work. So those are things I think nobody really thinks about. And then if you're filming on set location somewhere, you know, kiss
that's
your
why
dog and family and kids goodbye.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, and that's why you want to start that younger, and that's why a lot of actors maybe don't get married till later or have kids till later, and the ones that do
as well, right?
I mean, it's tough. It's tough to be able to have that type of a job. Same goes with musicians, but musicians are a little bit more predictable because their shows are usually at night. Like, you're playing for 3 hours. Actors are on, like you said, set for a long time. So, but yeah, it's crazy. Crazy.
It's crazy.
But I'm going to check out Hearts on Fire and report back to you next week. I just need to find where the F it is. It doesn't say where it is.
I can send you information too. Because I'm pretty sure I follow whatever he's put out. Because a while ago, he was trying to he does a lot of fun stuff through the improv group where he'll be like, oh, we have a challenge this week where we're supposed to do, like, one of them was they had to create a wrestling character, and then they would put on Facebook, you know how like wrestlers will challenge other wrestlers and say like, I'm going to tear you apart and blah, 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 blah. I'm going to bring the heat and da-da-da-da. You smell what the rock's cooking and all that shit. Well, that's what they did. They had to create a wrestling character, and then they had to call out and challenge some of the other people as their characters in your character. And so he would post some of those, and they were hilarious because it's him trying to create a character, and like every so often, like he changed it. He had one character and he's doing it like 2 or 3 different ones, and then he changes it out of nowhere. And you're like, wait, what? And then even in the comments, people were like, wait a minute, what happened to this other character? He's like,
trying new stuff out.
Yeah, he's like, it sucked. I realized that was dumb.
Yeah,
and I went with this other one, and this one's much better. And it was cool because you could see that evolution in a much quicker time, because everybody was like, hey, we've never done this. So everybody started off super raw, and then towards the end, he's got like a costume. He's kind of evolving. Yeah, it was pretty rad.
Have you been to an actual like improv show?
Oh yeah. And you can do that.
Levels.
A lot of
there's different levels. There's amateur and a little bit above, blah, blah, blah. And then you get to like Chicago Second City, Citizens up something Brigade, Upright Brigade in New York, Growlings in LA. So like those are like the pros that have been doing it for a really long time. There's a lot of names that have come out and now are real actors. Like, you don't just have to do stand-up comedy. You can do improv comedy, and then there's genius comedians that can do both. Your Jerry Seinfeld, your Larry Davids, those guys that can literally do both. Conan, well, I don't know if Conan does stand-up. Stand-up's hard.
Well, I mean, you're alone.
Yeah.
It's all your writing.
Nobody to feed off of.
It's all your acting. It's all of your, so whatever you're giving to the performance, right? Because there's some comedians who kind of act out. They're more physical within it. You know what I mean? So you can see it more. And some other comedians are very much, they just stand there and you have to just listen to what they're saying and how they're delivering it, because that's the joke.
That's the funny part.
Right. But that's the thing I love about comedy is like, you can't really copy someone else's style because you see it, you know it, right? You're like, you're doing Eddie Murphy. Like you're just doing a white guy Eddie Murphy. Like that's what that is, 100%. And then when people are just their unique selves, like it's awesome because it changes how they say it or what words they choose, or you know what I mean? And then over time, all your jokes kind of evolve a certain style that is you, and that becomes that mark that makes a Steve Martin or Chappelle a Chappelle. You know what I mean? So
I mean, Chappelle, I believe, was heavily influenced, not heavily, but influenced by Richard Pryor. And so was Eddie Murphy. And I'm wondering,
I can see that. Well, I mean, if you think about it, like they're black comedians looking at black comedians, like, you know what I'm saying? Like that makes sense. Like Richard Pryor wasn't just a great comedian, but if you're like a young black dude coming up and wanting to be a comedian, that's what you're going to aspire to.
But it's funny because
I could see
Dave Chappelle and Eddie Murphy are 10 years apart, 20 years apart. I mean, but they both idolized, like Eddie Murphy, they really idolized him. He did skits on his 1982 Delirious or one of those where he'd be like, I didn't have any jokes. All I talked about was, what was it?
Oh, he was like
farting and something else.
Yeah, he was just like, I did nothing at the age of 18 except like, it was like, be born and take a shit. He goes, I talked about taking a shit.
Taking a shit. Yeah, in the back. Yeah.
And he talks about like, you ever take a shit and flush the toilet?
Yeah.
And it comes back. What does that shit want?
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, Eddie Murphy, love that guy. I want to see how old he is actually. But
you know what?
What's next week's
let's wrap it up with that, but we'll do a little spotlight on Eddie Murphy. You want to do that? He's another one. He's another person who
50 and 63. Yeah, Eddie Murphy's great, man. I'm waiting for the day. I think he's working. My theory is he's working on an epic comeback stand-up, where not even a comeback, just a stand-up. Because once he had kids, Eddie Murphy is no longer Eddie Murphy. He became Dr. Dolittle. He became whatever.
Right.
Family,
very family. Yeah.
Family oriented. Same with Ice Cube. They started doing family stuff and stopped being so vulgar and bad words and whatever. Oh, Beverly Hills Cop, they're remaking.
Oh, wait, completely brand new.
I don't know. No. They're bringing all the people back.
Oh, so he is going to be Axel Foley.
Oh yeah, he is Axel Foley, man. I got the trailer right here. It comes out July 3rd, 2024. It comes out this year. July it's Beverly Hills Cop 4.
Okay.
Yep, they're doing it.
Wow, man.
Let's see who's in it.
Who's writing that? Do you know who wrote that? Is his hand in that?
I mean, I'm sure there's a whole backstory on how it came to, right?
Yeah.
July 3rd. Oh, man. I mean, Beverly Hills Cop, the last one was made in 87. Wait, 94. Sorry, 94. So 30 years ago was when the last one.
How can they bring him back? The only thing I could see is if they
didn't die.
Right, but I'm sure a cop retired by now. Most cops do.
Okay.
You're not 65 out there trying to bust bad guys.
What is it about? Detective Axel Foley Murphy is back on the beat in Beverly Hills after his daughter Jane's life is threatened. She and Foley team up. This could be real cheesy and horrible. You don't know.
It could be good. No, that's what I was saying.
And team up with new partner. Get this, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. How I like that guy. So this is going to be interesting. So him and Eddie Murphy are partners.
Okay, so
and old pals, Billy Rosewood, Judge Reinhold, and Taggart, John Aston, to turn up the heat. So there's 4 of them now instead of 3 of them, because it's the 2 white dudes.
Oh, you know what? Beverly Hills Cop 4.
4.
They gotta have 4 of them.
Okay, all right.
They gotta have 4. That makes sense. Okay.
Axel's been back to Beverly Hills a few times since his first visit in '94. Okay, as we were scouting going from Detroit to Beverly Hills, a cultural contrast that made Axel a fish out of water in the '80s was still so vivid. So Beverly Hills, Detroit, same feel 30 years later.
Okay. Yeah. Listen, I'm looking forward to. Oh, do you think they'll bring back Serge? You remember
Serge in that? The guy's like a surge.
yeah. He's like, it sounds like a detergent.
Surge.
Yeah, dude, that guy where because he made the special. He was the Beverly Hills like art dealer, and then he became a weapons dealer because he gave him the weapon in I think Cop 3, right?
The
one with the amusement
that's
park.
going to be a rewatch for all 3 of them before the 4th one hits. So
the first one I watched
that's all I gotta say.
ridiculously amount. So
when he shoves the bananas in the tailpipe, that's the first one, right?
Oh, dude, there's
that's
so many things that that's a really good one. All of them. That's when he first did the gum and did the alarm system. You know what I'm talking about? You choose the gum and he puts it over there. And then I think the second one, Judge Reinhold, he tries to do it and he's like, I saw Axel do this.
Yeah.
He's like, woo, it doesn't work. And he's like, oh shit.
It's a good movie.
That's a great movie. See, okay, if I could pick Eddie like that, I think you're just squeezing at a well that's already run dry, right? In my opinion, the third one was, if you're gonna do something 30 years later, you know what I'd like to see? The Golden Child. That would make sense, dude. You made one.
It ended though, like there was a full-on ending to that movie.
He gets the girl, that hot Indian woman, right? Then he saves the kid, and then at the end of it, they're just walking off, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna like raise." It looks like he's gonna like raise this kid because he's the golden child, but someone's got to be his protector, Eddie Murphy, right? So they're walking off, and this is where he's talking about like, "Hey, you could go on David Letterman, and you could show him how to do that, and you could have the audience throw rocks and make them fly around, and then hit Ed McMahon hard." And that's the end of the movie, but like that would be cool. Like,
so they did leave it open.
Totally. The kid could be like, he's the golden child, right? So the idea is he's going to grow up to be the golden man, or the true being that's going to bring peace.
That might be a good parody, like a short skit where you do the golden child. Now he's older and he's like addicted to something, and it's just like a funny little.
You could do that, or he has to realize his power and not be like, oh, I'm just a regular dude in the regular world. Because I think that'd be cool. Is just to say like, because what it was is demons were coming after this child, and then Eddie Murphy didn't take it seriously and was funny, right?
Yeah,
that whole premise could come back. That it's 30 years later, demons are back to try and take him, and now he has to like convince this child, kind of like they had to convince him like this is real. If you were living in the world and you were not told about ghosts, goblins, and everything, the kid would be on Facebook and doing his thing. He'd be a 33-year-old, right? So I think that would be a cool premise. Is like he's a stockbroker living in the everyday world, and now they're like, "Hey, man, you got to go on this mythical quest." You would have to
find the right scenario. That, like when you said stockbroker, I'm like, no, it doesn't feel like stockbroker. Like
well, else. Whatever. He would do something.
I know, but just like going back and forth here, but. I wonder, like in my mind, he's like this like washed up dude that maybe, I don't know, went to college, didn't like it, something happened. Now he's like delivering pizzas or something, you know.
Oh, there you go. Even better.
And then
like he's not realizing, he's not realizing his full potential. He's in a rut. He doesn't feel like he quite fits into the mainstream of like, hey, get a job. You had a degree. You were accepted to MIT. Why didn't you go and finish? It wasn't the right. I don't know. And it's because he has this greater purpose. And Eddie Murphy is still that role. It's like, hey, that's part of protecting the child, not just for keeping him alive. Sure. He did that part. Now he has to realize his potential and become the golden child he was meant to be. And then that could be Eddie Murphy trying to like help him along on that quest, like the old man.
I don't know how writers do it, man. Because like you have to, like, what's the process? Because we just you just said a lot, and I'm trying to keep up. So how do you like put that into and then like produce something? Like, how do you write this? You know,
I think that's like you start somewhere. You would write that premise, okay, and then you start looking at the details, like what we just did, like what you just did to correct it. I said stockbroker, and you're like, no, that wouldn't work. He wouldn't become a stockbroker.
right? And that's how
he'd have to be
multiple writers in a room.
Right. But then we'd be like, okay, so
But you would have to listen to each other, right? Like you would have to listen to each other and take into consideration. Sometimes it's a no, other times, oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And then put it up. So that's cool shit. So anyway, next week, still a Wednesday. So I'm good to go. Maybe we jump back into the book a little bit. I mean, we've been all comedy the past couple weeks.
That's okay.
No, totally fine.
Where are you at in the chapters?
Like still on 4. I've been so incredibly busy at work. It's not even funny. It's a good thing, but it's just like springtime, real estate time.
How to try to find that. Trying to get the what?
The excited buffoon buys a house.
Yeah, the buffoon.
Really
sells his first house. Oh no, that was the excited southerner sells his first house or tries to sell his first house.
Exactly. Well, 3 bedrooms.
That could be
that could be something,
dude. Because think about it, everyone our age would be like, "Hey, isn't that the Adam Sandler thing?" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that'd be cool. You should make one.
We'll see.
Yeah. All right. So,
all right, dude.
Next week, let's do a focus on Eddie Murphy, and we'll get to chapter 4 or 5.
4 or 5. Let's try 4 or 5. Probably have to reread 4 because it's been so long. But anyway, good night, everyone.